Now on CoastTV News.
A strong start for retail marijuana in the first state. How much money came in from the first month of sales? A dangerous stretch. Neighbors in Milford say walking along Airport Road is risky business. How a new study could bring change. And independent living. A new senior community could be coming to Lewes. What's planned for Kings Highway?
This is CoastTV News at 11.
The state of Delaware is reporting big numbers in their first month of recreational cannabis sales. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Christina DeRobertis. Well, recreational cannabis was only allowed to be sold in Delaware on August 1st after years of roadblocks. Now the Office of the Marijuana Commissioner reports retail sales across the state totaled over $7,300,000 this month alone, with cannabis flower accounting for 55% of those sales. And the Columbia Cares dispensary in Rehoboth Beach, one of the top 3 earners in the state, says folks are certainly taking advantage of the sales.
The generic feedback is people are really excited about that, to shop locally, keep the money here locally in Delaware.
And since May, the Office of the Marijuana Commissioner has issued 79 conditional licenses and 3 active ones. More approvals are expected soon, along with new grants to help social equity businesses get off the ground. Safety for bikers and pedestrians along one of Milford's busiest roads now under review. Airport Road between Canterbury Road and US 113 currently lacks sidewalks and shoulders, leaving many people feeling unsafe. With Milford's growing population and more offices and businesses along the road, the City of Milford asked the Dover-Kent Metropolitan Planning Organization to study the corridor and identify potential safety improvements. Neighbors we spoke with say they already have ideas for improvements, which they feel are long overdue.
Or sidewalks for people to get around safely so they're not out in the road. If there were sidewalks, I might walk on Airport Road, but otherwise, no, just got to stay away from as many cars as possible.
And the Dover-Kent MPO says the project is still in the early stages. Next week, they'll present to Milford City Council, and the following week, they'll meet with neighbors at the Riverwalk Freedom Festival to hear public input. Tonight, the Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission approved a conditional use for the land that you're about to see here on your screen. The land will be used for an independent senior living center, which would include care facilities, a restaurant, a fitness center, all located on the west side of Kings Highway. And we did speak with some community members at that meeting tonight.
It's great that the independent living is going to be put there. That's one good thing. The restaurant and so on down below, I don't think it's a very good idea because it'll bring more traffic to Kings Highway. And of course the trees being knocked down is not good.
Now the commission said the facility would meet conditions for the land because it's the pre-existing cheer center, can be found right next door. Also, it's a close distance to the nearest hospital. The Lewes Fire Department has decided to keep the punishment of temporary suspension for former Fire Chief Bill Buckaloo, allowing him to return as a regular member following his suspension. As CoastTV's Emma Aiken reports, CoastTV has reached out to numerous people for their reaction to that decision.
CoastTV went to former Lewes Fire Chief Bill Buckaloo's house, as well as called, and this is what we encountered. CoastTV also knocked on the door believed to be that of Wally Evans, the Lewes Fire Department president, seeking comment. Same response. The Southern Delaware Alliance for Racial Justice Executive Director Joseph Lawson did respond.
We're very uncomfortable with the notion of someone like that having life or death power over people that they're supposed to serve when they have that kind of attitude about those people.
Lewes Mayor Amy Marasco told CoastTV, even though the fire department does not report to the city, it's still the brand of Lewes at stake.
We should hold ourselves accountable and each other. And that's my full hope, is that the fire department will address this fully and that they will, through this process, learn and come out of it better than where they started.
Lewes local Lisa Hoffman says she doesn't want Buckaloo back serving her community.
I'd say he's a bad penny, and given his age, I don't know why the fire department would want him back. He serves no legitimate purpose to enhancing the fire department.
But other people, like Jim McKay, don't think Buckaloo's racial comment should be the end-all, be-all.
I think his suspension was warranted, but I'm not sure he should lose his job because of that comment.
CoastTV reached out to the Lewes Fire Department Wednesday. They did not provide comment on Buckaloo's punishment.
And that was Emma Aiken reporting. We do fully intend to continue reaching out to former Fire Chief Bill Buckaloo and Lewes Fire Department President Wally Evans as to why the decision was made. And today, the NAACP reacted to the decision made last night. Delaware Conference President Flor McKindle sent us a statement. She said, in part, quote, the Lewes Fire Department allowing Buckaloo to return after publicly using the N-word is not just disappointing, it is dangerous, unquote. Now, Buckaloo has faced multiple controversies during his time at the department. He was serving his 5th term as fire chief at the time of this latest suspension. Back in 2018, Buckaloo was arrested by Lewes police for disorderly conduct after urinating off of a dock. And in 2020, while serving as assistant chief, Buckaloo was suspended for a Facebook post that included a slur aimed at a drag performer following a show in Rehoboth Beach. That post was later deleted and Buckaloo issued a public apology. Now, following Buckaloo's suspension, the Lewes Fire Department held an election to pick a new fire chief, Robert Stevens, now currently serving that role. Full disclosure here, the current fire chief, Robert Stevens, is the husband of CoastTV's assistant news director and anchor, Madeline Overturf. This does bring us to our CoastTV poll. We want to know if you think Buckaloo should keep his membership. Looking at the updated results now, 28% saying yes, 72% saying no. It's not too late to vote. You can go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app. Let us know what you think. Now we're taking a live look outside into the Dover area, and our first alert chief meteorologist, Paul Williams, is going to join us now with a check on the forecast. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening to you, Christina. And right now we even take a more closer view of what's happening in Rehoboth Beach. And we've cooled down to the 60s right now. The winds are right now pushing out of the north and staying relatively calm. We are expecting relatively clear conditions to continue throughout the rest of the evening time. We will sink down to 62 degrees as early as 2 o'clock this morning tomorrow morning, under mostly clear skies. We're in the 60s just about everywhere. We're at 60 degrees even at Long Neck, 69 Rehoboth Beach, 62 in Milton, 62 also in Georgetown, and we're at 60 degrees evens in Laurel, Delmar, as well as Gumboro and Willards. The winds are now shifting out of the south, so we're getting ready to usher in more heat and more humidity. That's beginning to kick that off. And we're getting ready to enjoy, and I say that tongue in cheek, enjoy a very summer-like day. We have the current wavelengths, heights rather, at 3 feet, and we have a small craft advisory in effect around the Cambridge area. Coming up, we'll talk more about the kind of heat that's on the way and how long it will stay.
All right, Paul, thank you. An inmate at the Eastern Correctional Institution has been charged with murder. Maryland State Police say 26-year-old Taiwan Chappelle was responsible for the death of 28-year-old Shane Lanham, also an inmate. This happened back in March, and troopers said at the time Lanham was found on the floor of the cell of another inmate. Chappell now faces first-degree murder, among other charges. And it is important to note here, this is unrelated to the death of an inmate at ECI over the weekend. Police are still investigating that case in Somerset County. Authorities say Danielle Cornell Morris, an inmate, was found unresponsive in his cell on August 31st. Maryland State Police say a suspect, also an inmate, has been identified but has not been charged at this time. Well, several women who say they suffered years of sexual abuse at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell made their voices heard today, imploring Congress to vote to release every file connected to the Epstein case. This comes just one day after the House Oversight Committee released tens of thousands of Justice Department records on that case, but those files are heavily redacted, much of it already in the public domain. As Laura Aguirre explains, it's a move that falls short of the full transparency many lawmakers, survivors, and Americans are calling for.
I was abused by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell for over 10 years.
I was 16 years old
when I was flown to New Mexico to spend a weekend with Epstein and Maxwell.
I was only 14 years old when I met Jeffrey.
Some of the survivors who suffered sexual abuse at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were in D.C. today, standing together in their pain and perseverance. Also united, bipartisan lawmakers, House Democrat Ro Khanna and GOP Rep Thomas Massie, co-sponsors of the Epstein Files Transparency Act.
We're here not as partisans, we're here as patriots. The perpetrators are being protected because they're rich and powerful and political donors to the establishment here in Washington, D.C.
Khanna and Massie are confident they'll get the Republican backing they need to force a vote on the full House floor to release all of the Epstein documents.
If you vote no, your stance will be clear.
Sky Roberts, the brother of Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre, who took her own life in April, had a stark message for lawmakers.
You will be choosing to stand on the side of the rich and powerful, allowing money to buy your way out of the consequence.
In the Oval Office, President Donald Trump dismissed calls to release all the files.
But it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
As for an alleged client list, this from an attorney for some of the survivors.
I'm more than happy to assist in helping create the list behind the scenes and see what we do with it.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
And we still have more news to get into this evening. Coming up ahead, a new direct flight coming to the Salisbury Regional Airport. We'll tell you where you can fly to. But first, setting the stage for OC Rock and Ride. What things are in store for this year's motorcycle event?
Here's a look at your Bay forecast. 84 for the high on Thursday, Friday 88, and we'll warm to a balmy 90 degrees by Saturday. Right now, we're going to continue to enjoy very calm conditions for us, and we're expecting an opportunity for it to warm up nicely like a summer-like day with the additional heat and humidity that you would typically expect with a dog day of summer. In Laurel, though, right now, we're still on the cool side. I mean, we're only at 60 degrees, and I know it may seem like I'm crying wolf, but believe me, when you take a look at the forecast, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, we're going to stay in the lower 60s for the rest of the night, under mostly clear skies. Now, we're going to go at 60 degrees Long Neck, 62 in Millsboro, 61 degrees right now in Dagsboro. It's 7-mile-per-hour winds, Indian River Inlet. For our wind gusts, we're staying relatively calm as the winds will continue to cascade out of the south, relatively light at about 4 to 7 miles per hour. Live radar is indicating that we're staying very clear right now. Precipitation not even an issue. In fact, cloud cover is hard to come by at this particular point. We do have a trough that's developing just to our northwest, and we're seeing some scattered showers developing way up there in Altoona, but that's all the way in Pennsylvania, not here in the Delmarva Peninsula. Now, as we go into Thursday, we look for scattered showers to stay limited, but there's a slight risk of it to briefly develop for about a half of a millisecond, metaphorically speaking, but we're going to stay relatively clear. By the way, our Shore Living Expo is going to be on Saturday, September the 6th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Wacomico Youth and Civic Center at 500 Glen Avenue in Salisbury. The forecast for the event, staying very clear till we get to 6 o'clock. By 6 o'clock, it'll be over. Now, here's a look at tomorrow. 85 for the high in Lewes, 83 for the high in Rehoboth. We expect 83 for the high in Cambridge as well as Vienna. And we'll warm to 83 degrees for us actually in Snow Hill and Berlin, 81 for the high in Ocean City and Chincoteague. Now for Thursday on the coast, we're looking at 76 degrees. For the inland area, 76 degrees. But for the eastern shore, we're going to warm into the 80s. The winds are going to be pushing out of the south and the southwest, respectively, for most locations. Now, we are going to warm to like 81 degrees for Thursday afternoon around lunchtime with the winds coming out of the south. Now, we'll be in the 70s for the beaches, but we'll be in the 80s for all the inland areas. Friday, we're going to get a chance to warm to 86 degrees by 2 o'clock, and we're not done warming up by then. We're probably going to warm up just a tad more by then. And as we go into Saturday morning, we'll cool back off into the 60s. Now, our chances of rain and precipitation will escalate for us mainly on Saturday during the day and Saturday during the night, according to our chances of rain for the next 7 days. Friday, we're looking pretty clear. Saturday, we see cloud cover beginning to make its way towards us as we go into the afternoon hours. And really, to be honest, we're looking for a good deal of moisture, but models are not agreeing on that chance of rain for Saturday, to be quite honest. I mean, we're looking at 80 to 84 degrees Chincoteague and Assateague, but not necessarily widespread rain expected. Now, we're looking for it to warm up to the 80s, but not necessarily a guarantee that we'll have that chance of rain. Finally, here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Well, we're still going to call for that chance of rain, at least a slight chance of scattered showers on Saturday.
Paul, thank you. Here's what was happening in Ocean City today, setting the stage. What was once called Bike Fest has now been changed to OC Rock and Ride. That's due to new management taking over. And as Coast TV reporter Kevin Zappé shows us, some changes have been made this year.
Grab your bikes. No, not those bikes. I'm talking about the hot rods, two-wheeled monsters of chrome, decked out motorcycles. That's all you'll be seeing this upcoming Wednesday during the OC Rock and Ride Bike Fest, something Norm Volpe has been attending since 2013.
Just the all-around atmosphere. It's great here in Ocean City, you know. Weather's beautiful, you got the beaches, you got the ocean, you got the bikes, you got the shows, you got the vendors.
Matt Otochowski is the owner of the managing team responsible for OC Rock and Ride, and says with his first year managing the event, some changes have been made.
What we're doing different this year is we're going to have more vendors into the inlet. It's actually going to start open at 9 a.m. so vendors, and it's free to get to the vendors.
Along with this, there will be more seating and local bands throughout the event, as well as more vendors throughout town.
I'm looking forward to that. You know, they do have good music and vendors here, but you know, more is better.
Although the town wants to make sure everyone has a great time, they also want everyone to stay safe. Unlike last year, the town will be enforcing a special event zone, which includes lowering the speed limit, increasing police presence, and upping the fines if caught going over the speed limit.
Can never be too safe on two wheels, you know. More safety, the better, I believe.
We're trying to make sure that this is an event that everybody comes to town, everybody has a great time. They come here, they have fun, but most importantly, they go home and are safe that whole time.
All this to make sure everyone has a safe and fun time during this year's OC Rock and Ride.
Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and OC Rock and Ride will go from Wednesday, September 10th to September 14th. Still to come on Coast TV News at 11, why federal appeals court says President Trump's use of the Alien Enemies Act was illegal.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
The Sussex Conservation District Board of Supervisors recently approved more than $6.45 million in cost share funding for its annual conservation program. That's according to the district. The board designated $5.2 million for the cover crop program and $1.25 million for the tax ditch program. SCD says the funding for their cost share program is provided by the Delaware General Assembly through the Delaware Department of Agriculture. Meanwhile, the U.S. Department of Agriculture is investing $8 million for 5 new projects. These projects will reduce risk of wildfires, also protect water quality, and improve forest health across the nation. The 5 new projects will take place in Alabama, Colorado and Wyoming, Montana, North Carolina, and Oregon. Forest Service Chief Tom Schultz said, quote, "Wildfires have no boundaries, and neither should our prevention work." A federal appeals court says President Trump's use of the Alien Enemies Act to rapidly deport alleged Venezuelan gang members is unlawful. The decision Tuesday means the law cannot be used in several southern states, blocking the administration's strategy in its immigration crackdown. The court concluded that a predatory incursion by the members of the gang had not occurred, as Trump claimed, as a reason for invoking the act. The U.S. Supreme Court will likely have the final say on the issue. Well, the NFL is back this week. The first game right here on Coast TV. Defending Super Bowl champs, the Philadelphia Eagles, taking on the Dallas Cowboys for kickoff. It's on Thursday, September 4th. That's tomorrow. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. and the game starts at 8:20. Coming up in sports, women's ice hockey at the University of Delaware. How this team is getting ready to compete for the first time in program history. And coming up, a hidden addiction, the warning signs of problem gambling in tonight's Health Minute.
Here's a look at your Gulf forecast. We're expecting an abundance of sunshine, actually a bit of heat and humidity similar to a summer day, because that humidity is about to really kick in.
We salute Rick Garloff for his dedicated service in the United States Navy. His commitment to duty and country reflects the core values of honor, courage, and dedication. We thank him for his service and proudly recognize his contribution to our nation's defense.
Spicer Brothers and CoastTV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a CoastTV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
Starting October 1st, more flight opportunities coming to Salisbury. Budget airline Breeze Airways will begin nonstop service to and from Orlando for prices as low as $59. Right now, the airport only offers American Airlines routes to Charlotte and Philadelphia. Locals tell us they're excited for an affordable airfare in Salisbury. Well, sports betting, it's a booming industry, and while experts say it can be a fun fall hobby, gambling can also turn into a severe issue. An estimated 2.5 million U.S. adults face a severe gambling problem every year. Mandy Gaither has the warning signs of gambling addiction in tonight's Health Minute and how you can get help.
It's an addiction that often isn't as obvious as others, but severe gambling problems can have a significant impact on a person's life.
This is something that, an individual could potentially, keep to themselves.
The National Council on Problem Gambling defines it as gambling behavior that's damaging to a person or their family, often disrupting their daily life and career. The organization says warning signs include thinking about gambling all the time, feeling the need to bet more money more often, trying to win money back, feeling restless or irritable when you try to stop or cut back, feeling like you can't control yourself, and gambling despite negative consequences. In extreme cases, it can also cause bankruptcy, legal problems, the loss of your job or family, and suicidal thoughts.
And the right mindset comes down to knowing the odds, understanding the game, and most importantly, keeping it social.
Devices make sports betting easier than ever, so the American Gaming Association says to think before you gamble and monitor your behavior. If you choose to place a bet, make sure you're doing it on a legal site with responsible gaming protections.
If you're someone that's concerned about a loved one involved in this activity, trying to keep an eye on their habits and what he or she might be demonstrating in some moments when you're watching the game. If somebody is sort of displaying those levels of anxiety around an important moment in the game, it might be an opportunity to just ask that person, give that person the space to communicate.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
In sports, we go to a place of firsts, the first state, for a history-making first on the ice. The Delmarva Sports Network's Kayla Santiago is at the University of Delaware.
Conference USA wasn't the only new addition for Blue Hens athletics this year. UD also implemented a brand new women's ice hockey team that will face Division I competition.
There aren't many Division I ice hockey programs, so to start something I think is really unique and we're really excited.
And goalie Maddie Robitzer says that this is just the start to expanding women's ice hockey across the country.
It's something that's really special and really exciting. There's not really a ton of new teams in women's D1 hockey, so it's really cool to get to be part of expanding that across the country. And this area has been kind of a hotbed for hockey over the past couple of years. It's really grown here, so it's really cool to finally make that jump to the D1 level and start a team here.
Recent Tatnall High School graduate and current University of Delaware freshman Billy Roman says that she dreamed of playing college hockey in the first state.
It's really a dream of mine. I remember my mom and I talking about how it would be so cool if Delaware had a team all growing up. And I think it's just so inspirational to the girls that have grown up around here. I've seen the men teams play. I played high school in this rink, and now just playing my college career here and then getting to talk to the school I went to. Now they can come watch, and they have an opportunity in their home state to play at this level.
Game 1 is at home Friday, September 26th at 6 p.m. Reporting at the University of Delaware for the Delmarva Sports Network, I'm Kayla Santiago.
DelDOT is hosting a 5K run and walk on the new North Millsboro bypass. The department says the 5K will be an opportunity for the community to see the new road before it opens to traffic. All proceeds from the event benefit the Andrew McDonough B+ Foundation, and that 5K set for Saturday, September 13th. Registration is open through DelDOT's website. And here's another cool thing to do. It's almost time. Celebrate all the things that make Delmarva a great place to live. Everyone is invited to the Shore Living Expo. There's going to be local vendors, live demos, and more, and it's all happening this Saturday from 10 to 4 at the Wicomico Youth and Civic Center in Salisbury.
In Milford right now, we're at 64 degrees, dew point temperature of 59. We're going to stay in the lower 60s for the rest of the evening. Our umbrella giveaway winner, James Price of Ellendale. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling. You can keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line. The number to call is 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away. Sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Mandalis, and Federico. Finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Now, the football there on Thursday is letting you know, hey, NFL football kicks off right here on CoastTV, by the way, so you'll be sure to tune in. I believe it's the Philadelphia versus Dallas, actually. Oh, boy, yeah. My girlfriend would kill me if she knew I stumbled over that. She's a Philly fan. Anyway, and so would Chris Mastrobono. All right, but anyway, Sunday, we're looking for more in the way of football for Sunday Night Football. But during that time, or leading up to that, we're going to warm to a nice, toasty, warm 90 degrees by Saturday.
All right, thank you, Paul, and thanks for joining us for Coast TV News at 11 tonight. You can always find more local news and local weather on our Coast TV News app. You can also join us again tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. The Tonight Show's next. Have a great night.